Blessed love, happy Monday. Dharma Shakti here, hanging out with Shiva. This is the door we had to the yoga room in our studio. It's not a special digital background. This is actually a beautiful painting that we used to have up at our studio. So I thought I'd bring you a little piece of the studio to you for those of you out there watching who are, our studio members who used to come in and hang out with us and practice in the studio. We got Lord Shiva with us still, so hopefully he'll be installed at our new place whenever that happens. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you about a quote today from the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. So there's a verse in the Yoga Sutras that really just stuck out with me, and I thought, wow, Patanjali must have been like one of the pioneers of affirmation and positive thinking, because he has this really great verse that says, when you are being harassed by negative thoughts, you must counteract it with positive thoughts. He literally lays this out in the technology of yoga, right? The Yoga Sutras are basically the technology of the science that is yoga. And so Patanjali here is giving us one of the key technology pieces, like one way that we can leverage this technology to really discover our true self. And so one of those things is by cultivating counteracting thoughts. And the reason I wanted to share this quote with you is because I was being harassed. I was horrendously being harassed the last couple of days and all through this weekend by my own thoughts, and really taking a beating and struggling with it. And I was reminded of this particular verse in the Yoga Sutras from Patanjali, and I just thought, God, I turned a light on for me. I was like, okay, I got to get to it, and I can't just dwell on the negative thoughts that are like swimming around in my mind and I'm drowning in these pools of pessimism. I actually have to speak to myself differently, because the record that is playing in my mind was being super loud. And part of it was recognizing that record that was playing wasn't me talking to myself. It was borrowed beliefs from people in my life talking to me. And I've adopted that way to speak to myself, but I'm working on creating a new way to speak to myself. And this is what Patanjali suggests here, is that we counteract the harassment of negative thinking in our mind by cultivating positive thoughts, right? A counteracting positive thought. So when you think that you're not enough, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you are enough. You totally got this. You can figure it out. When you think that you're not whatever enough, whatever it is, you're not feeling on the vibe that you're putting out. You're not feeling on how you look. You're not feeling your status and whatever, whatever ways that your mind is feeding you negativity in judgment about yourself. You have to cultivate counteracting thoughts. And it can't just be like a random in the moment. I mean, it can, but as my mentor says, if you leave your life up to randomness, you will always live in the field of mediocrity. Or you can architect a statement that you're repeating to yourself all the time throughout the day. Whenever you find yourself in that pool of pessimism, whenever you find yourself in that negativity, you have this affirmation, this statement about yourself, to yourself, that you can say to counteract that negative mind. So my friends, my challenge for you today is to come up with something that is a remedy for your negative thinking. So here is my little bit of advice to kind of help you navigate that process of how do I come up with the statement that I can say to myself to counteract my negative thinking. And really, you just ask yourself this question: what's one belief or two beliefs that you could adopt about yourself that would make you feel happier, make you feel more confident about who you are? It may be, I'm an empowered being full of creativity. It may be, I'm beautiful on the inside and the out, and I love myself completely. It may be, I allow abundance to flow through me and as me and all around me. Whatever it is, these are just ones coming off the top of my head. Come up with something really simple to affirm to yourself a mental state of being that you're trying to architect I want you to think about this word. You're architecting a mindset. You have a mindset that was architected for you. And Patanjali is saying that the way that you re-architect, you create something new for yourself, is by counteracting the negative architect, the design that's been put in place, by creating and cultivating and countering it with something positive that you've architected, a belief system that you have architected for yourself, right? So what is it that you can say to yourself morning, noon, and night in the mirror to lift your spirits, to encourage yourself, to believe in yourself, to empower yourself, to love yourself, to be kind to yourself, to be hopeful and faithful in yourself, to build trust in yourself? Like just 1 or 2 sentences that you can say morning, noon, and night, or I recommend doing it in the mirror. But if you're not around a mirror, you do it wherever you can. The moment you realize you're caught in that negative thinking, you have to just pull this out of your back pocket and say the phrase, right? Whatever that phrase is for you. So, often, if you spend enough time with me in my personal life, you will see me at some point out loud saying to myself, you're a good person, you're a good person, you're a good person, you work hard, you work really hard. Because my mind is constantly telling me that I'm not good enough and I don't work hard enough. And so I have to remind myself, I am a good person. I may not always make the best decisions, and my decisions may not always land well with others. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not trying to convince myself that I'm perfect. And these affirmations, honestly, they're not to convince yourself. Really, it's a remembrance. To remember that you are full of greatness, to remember that you are an empowered individual, to remember that you are endowed with creativity, to remember that you can figure anything out, to remember that you are a spirit soul that is full of unlimited possibilities. It's a remembering. It's a remembering, because we've been given borrowed beliefs, and so we have forgotten who we really are. And so I want you to just sit with this tonight and think about, what is a statement or a belief I can come up with that's 1 or 2 sentences that will, about myself, that will make me feel more happy and more confident. And it doesn't have to be some big flamboyant statement where you're like tooting your own horn. That's not what this is here, right? It's not about puffing up your head and giving you a big ego. It's about remembering. I am a spirit soul walking this journey with a divine creator who always has my back. Whatever it is that you need to affirm and repeat to yourself on a regular basis until you can come into that remembering, come into that knowing, and now you've repatterned, rewired your system. You've changed your belief structure, and now you're moving in a different direction. So thank you, Patanjali, for this lovely verse in the Yoga Sutras. When you are being harassed by negative thoughts, you're going to counteract it with positive thoughts. All right. I hope that this message finds you well, and that this video here today was helpful in some way, inspiring in some way for you, eye-opening, or any way that it has served you. I hope that it has landed in some way that has given you some inspiration for a better and more bright future, because you deserve that. It's all available to us. All that brightness, all that betterness, all that goodness in the future is available. We just have to architect our lives to move in that direction. So my friends, thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in and listening. I hope you have an amazing week. And don't forget to counteract those negative thoughts with positive ones. Come up with a statement that you can say to yourself every day to remind yourself of the person that you really, truly are deep down in that core of yours. All right, so much love from me to you. Keep your head held high and your heart open wide. Peace and blessings, my friends. Namaste.